Hey there, Tony from Vocal Power here, and what we've got today is an accidental video. It's actually a failed version of me trying to do a cover of Dokken's Alone Again, where I kind of goofed up and I thought, actually, this is an ideal time to maybe start exploring the world of distortion, grit, or edge. And this song's a good example of being able to apply just a little bit of color in the throat to take what is essentially a clean sound and give it a little bit more bite or a little bit of edge. So as a precursor to that, once again, I can't say this enough. Be careful when you're experimenting with this stuff. All our voices take it differently. If it hurts, then stop. But enjoy the rest of the failed recording. I'd like to see you in the morning light. I'd like to feel you when it comes to night. Now I'm here, but I'm all alone. Still I know how it feels. I'm alone again. Tried so hard to make you see. Bit of croaking there. Let's do that again. Focusing on the guitar. Tried so hard to make you see, but I couldn't find the words. Now the tears, they fall like rain. Now that's a classic Dokken thing where he sings with that kind of nasal edge, or that little bit of distortion that's done with the upper pharynx. A lot of singers who use this style are Dokken, obviously. Axl Rose does it as well as Klaus Meine from the Scorpions. Still loving you! That kind of upper pharyngeal grit. The nice thing about that sound is it's far away from the throat. So if I do the Dokken version again, I'll do it clean, right? Now the tears, they fall like rain. So I'm trying to keep the throat fairly open there and keep the thin chords to hold the sound. Like rain. You can hear that kind of cry sound in there. That's obvious that I'm stretching my chords and they're thinning out, so they can create that higher pitch and vibrate faster. Now, by adding a little bit of on the top, I feel this sound emerging at the roof of the mouth at the back. So where the soft palate is, and particularly around where the uvula hangs, that punching bag looking thing that's at the back of the throat. The dogs in the background obviously help if you get them to join in. It sounds even more heavy metal. So by going from the fall like rain, now the tears, they fall like rain. I'm exaggerating there at the end, but you can see it's very much an overlay. It's not part of the tone itself. The underlying tone, the relationship between the chords and the air is staying the same. What I'm doing is restricting the upper part of the pharynx, thus narrowing the kind of resonant tract where the sound has to travel through, and that's bouncing off the sides of the throat and bringing all that mucosal membrane into play that's causing that distortion. Now what's required here is just a bit of practice of making those kind of nasal sounds. Oh no, why not? A really good sound to play around with is what I call the annoyed puppy or the annoyed dog. If you ever come across a dog that's kind of resting peacefully and you just disturb it, it goes kind of. It's kind of mildly annoyed, but it hasn't got the energy to sort of drum up a full bark. So it's kind of a. So play around, see if you can get that going. With any kind of experimental play like this where you're adding things on top, if you start to feel red, raw, tired, or hoarse, or the chords start to feel heavy after about 10 minutes, then you should stop. okay? Because you're probably playing around in the wrong area, and come back to it again once the chords have had a chance to rest, because otherwise you can do damage. This is one of the problems with learning distortion or trying to teach distortion at a distance without being, you know, in the same room or one-to-one with somebody, because everyone's needs are different. One size does not fit all, and each of our voices responds differently to different things. Some people can take a lot of distortion, others the slightest bit gets in the way and can cause all kinds of problems. But it can be done, it can be learned by anyone. So let's go back to that again, with and without, so you can hear the difference. Now the tears, they fall like rain. And then a little bit grittier. Now the tears, they fall like rain. I'm alone again without you. Have fun experimenting with that, but once again, I can't say this enough times, I can't repeat it enough. If you feel something burning or scratchy or kind of itchy down there, then you're probably too close to the source, and you might be grinding the chords or squeezing the false chords in too tight and causing a little bit of problem there. So make sure it's kind of up here. I had a lot of success imitating Beavis and Butthead when I was doing, yeah, that's kind of cool, with that kind of nasal overtone. So if you're too young to remember them, check them out on MTV on YouTube. But most of the guys my age, you'll know what I'm talking about. So if you can kind of talk like Beavis, then you'll soon get the hang of this. All right, have fun with it, but be careful.